Joining me for the political wrap of the week was Sky News political editor Andrew Clennell. Joined me a short while ago. Andrew Clennell, thank you so much for joining me. There will be a terrorist attack, Andrew. That's an odd choice of words.
I can't believe it. I mean, isn't it the ASIO boss's job to prevent terror attacks? You're sounding quite pessimistic there. And when I spoke to police and security sources post the comment, Andrew, many of them were of the view, well, we don't know of an imminent one, and if we did, we'd be rounding people up. So I thought they were very interesting comments. I actually wonder how deliberate they were to go that far. I've also had a tip ASIO are getting more funding in the budget to deal with such threats, not just Islamic threats, but also the odd right-wing extremist. And so perhaps it was an exercise in justifying that funding. But what isn't to be scared of at the moment? If it's not COVID, it's the vaccine and blood clots. If it's not that, it's a war with China. Now it's a terrorist attack. I don't think I can take much more, Andrew. Much more fear, that is.
Look, I have to say I'm sharing it with you. I don't know whether we are living in more dangerous times or simply more nervous times. I really don't know.
Good point.
Well, more reassuring, mate, more reassuring. Treasurer Josh Frydenberg today gave a speech saying the government isn't going to crack down and start repaying debt. Not yet. I'm not sure if that is reassuring. But anyway, there you go. But it's not going to crack down on debt until unemployment is much lower, under 5%. Here he is.
Looking further ahead, our challenge once we recover from this crisis is to again rebuild our fiscal buffers. We have done it before and we will do it again. But it won't be by undertaking any sharp pivots towards austerity.
Andrew, what do you make of that?
Well, just in relation to the debt, ask my kids if it's reassuring when they're paying it back in 20 years' time, Andrew. But I would say that everything I'm hearing from the government, I guess it probably makes a lot of economic sense in terms of the Treasury advice about the economy being soft. But it says pre-election to me. And it says to me not an election later this year, but one in March, as opposed to the other scenario, which was going to be like in 2019 where they held a budget in April and an election in May. I think this is the pre-election budget. And I think there's extra money for aged care, there's extra money for childcare, there's tax relief, tax cuts, there's more of that instant asset write-off type thing for the tradies. I think there's plenty there for people to like the government because of. And that's the sort of budget I'm expecting. And it really is a far cry from those early years of the coalition government about Labor's debt and deficit and the approach of Matthias Cormann as finance minister. But having said that, there are good political reasons, there are good economic reasons at the moment. But at some point or another, we're going to have to repay this money. And I don't think it's, as the Treasurer said today, when unemployment's as low as 4%.
Well, I wonder how much thanks the government should actually be giving to China when prices for our biggest export, iron ore, now double what the last budget predicted, leaving us awash with more money than we thought. Gee, it makes us realise how vulnerable we are if China ever does turn off that little tap. Andrew, the fuss about, we're talking about China, the fuss about the head of the Department of Home Affairs, Mike Pezzullo, saying, prepare for war. The question I have, how much did the government know beforehand he was saying this? Now, Pezzullo's minister, Karen Andrews, said she knew of it, but did the Prime Minister know that this is what he would be saying? I'm just wondering, is there a level of deniability here? They let him say it so they don't have to say it.
Look, you're not the first person to put that to me, and I've sniffed around it. I'm told that the Minister knew, but the Prime Minister didn't know. But I'll leave any other speculation on that to you. As one observer said to me, Andrew, even if Michael Pezzullo didn't seek permission, decided to seek forgiveness rather than permission, his relationship with Scott Morrison is such that he feels emboldened enough to be able to write such an email, whereas many department heads would not.
Well, it's also interesting that Karen Andrews is a new minister and Mike Pezzullo is a forceful department head. So maybe she didn't dare contradict him, I don't know, or maybe just slipped past her. I'm not sure. But it's interesting. It's interesting. They're not throwing him under a bus, and I think he's actually said perhaps what needs to be said. So there you go. Andrew Clennell, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Andrew.